Hello, welcome back, and welcome to my first project pan update of 2024. I am really excited about this year's project because I feel like I've taken lessons I've learned from the past 2 years of having a project pan and kind of rolled that into this year. And I've also done something different where I'm actively working on products that I truly love, so it doesn't feel like an actual project. I'm just reaching for what I'm loving. So I'm having a lot of fun with this one. There is going to be a couple of changes to the products that are in here, of course, but let's just hop right into the updates. So first off, I decided to put in my Patrick Ta Cream Foundation and Finishing Powder Duo. It still bothers me that I don't like this product because I know so many people do. I absolutely wish I did because, I mean, the compact is so handy and convenient and so beautiful. I love a good convenient foundation. I just don't like this. It feels heavy on my skin. It transfers, it clings to dry patches. I just don't like this. I did use this twice this month. This is in my project and I only used it twice. I'm going to take this out and it will be replaced by a product I will mention at the end of the video. I also added in my Charlotte Tilbury Magic Vanish. So this is just like a little color corrector. I have the shade 1 Fair, so this is the very lightest one, and this is my all-time favorite color corrector. I just don't color correct that much. I think I used to do it a lot more than I currently do. So for that reason, that tells me that my habits have changed. I did use this, I think, maybe once or twice, but otherwise I kind of put it in my drawer with the rest of my products and forgot about it. So I need to add it to my little project pan basket so that I don't forget about it and try to get back in the habit of color correcting a little bit, maybe on those no makeup days, because this is such a fabulous color corrector. I truly love this product. I just think my habits have changed where I just don't really color correct very much anymore. But that being said, I still want to use this because it's such a good product. So getting into the blush in this project. So I decided that for this year, my blushes, I'm not trying to hit pan on. It is so hard to hit pan on a blush. I decided that the point of the project for my blushes this year is to use as many of them as I can. I just want to give them all a little bit of love. So I decided that I'm going to have a usage goal for each blush. The one I put in to start is my Charlotte Tilbury Cheek to Chic blush in Pillow Talk, because right before I started my project, I had rediscovered this and fell in love with it. I've been using it pretty religiously over the past month. My usage goal was 15 uses. Steep, I know. I had 11. So that means I have 4 more uses before I take this one out, but because I only have 4 more uses, I am going to be adding another blush in, but I am going to be cutting down that usage goal. Because at 15 uses, it was no problem because I love this blush so much, but I realized that that is also going to hold me back from cycling through all of my products. So I'm going to cut it down to 8, I think, because that will be easy to do and it will also allow me to cycle a lot more products through. So I will continue to get the 4 more uses out of this, and I will of course let you know at the end of the month if I was successful. But I'm very proud that I very nearly met that goal. I really wore this almost every single time I did my makeup. So I'm very proud of my progress on this one. And it's interesting, like I think I'm on the right track with having a usage goal because even looking at this blush, it still doesn't look like I touched it. I used it a solid 11 times, plus however many times I used it before I started my project, and it still barely looks touched. So I don't know. I'm really happy with the decision to have a usage goal. Next is my bronzer in the project, and this is the Beautiful Skin Sun Kissed Glow Bronzer. I love having this one in because this is my favorite cream bronzer. I feel like there is more of a dip in the center, so I think you can tell that I really do use this every single time. It's just much like my blush, it's a very slow progress. I'm almost debating on whether my bronzers should also be on a usage goal as opposed to a panning goal, but this one I really do want to hit pan on because it's as big as my head and it's a favorite, so I don't mind having this one, and as long as I need it to hit pan. So I'm hoping the progress photos will show some usage, but otherwise I'm happy with my progress on this one and I'm happy to keep working on it. Next we have my Kosas Cloud Set in the shade Airy. I love this powder so much, and I know I've made a ton of progress on it. So part of the reason I want to use this one up is because it is loose in the pan, and I don't really want to have to glue it down. So I just kind of want to use it up and then buy a new one, because I most certainly will be replacing this when I use it up. This is a baked product, which typically isn't my favorite. I don't know what it is I have against baked products. I think just the fact that they do tend to hard pan a little bit easier. So I don't think you can see the dip adequately in photos, but there is such a noticeable dip on this one. I'm so proud of my usage. You can tell I've been reaching for it all the time. It hasn't hit hard pan, so I'm really impressed with that too. I've just been really enjoying reaching for this because I really love this powder. It's so lightweight but blurring. It sets everything. It makes everything wear so long, and it's never ever heavy. I love this powder so much. I also added in my Natasha Denona Mini Biba palette. So I was reluctant to have an eyeshadow palette in here because I have a ton of palettes. Palettes are also my favorite thing to review, so any usage on my eyeshadow palettes is always going to be slow. Given that this is my favorite palette ever, I thought for sure this would be a good idea to put in, because if anything, I will hit pan on that center shade. And I definitely reached for this one quite a few times this month. I know I used it like 3 days this past week. So that tells me right there how much I love this palette, that I naturally reach for it all the time. I use these two shades the very most, the shimmer and this peach shade. When I'm looking for more depth, I'll typically go in with this one. And then I often use this one as a liner. I don't use this one as much, but these two shades are the ones that really get the usage, but especially that shimmer. It's my favorite. I just love this palette. I think it's the most flattering. It's the most pretty. I absolutely love this. I'm proud of how many times I used it this month as well, because I used it so many times. So I'm happy with this. And then my Winky Lux brow pencil. I like this brow pencil because it does have a larger tip, so it's just really quick to fill in the brows. I also find that I don't really need a ton of help when it comes to filling in my brows. My brows are naturally full enough. I don't have huge brows, but they're the right size for my face. And I don't find that there's any particularly sparse areas. So I find that something like this is perfect to just really quickly fill everything in and throw in a gel and call it a day. So I do like this larger tip. And I've actually made so much progress on this. Until I started my project, there was like no progress at all on this that I noticed. Now that I'm measuring it, I am making so much progress. If I finish this, I think I'll only have 2 brow pencils in my entire collection. Is that crazy? So I am really happy with this. This is one I think I could be done with, I want to say by May, because it is a brow pencil and it has taken me quite a long time at this point. But I want to say I could probably be done with this one by May and be working on another pencil. Now let's talk about the products that I'm going to be bringing into the project. So as I mentioned, I have nearly hit my usage goal with the Charlotte Tilbury, so I will keep working toward that and update you at the end of the month. For the blush that I'm bringing in to get 8 uses out of, I've decided to pull in my Lawless Make Me Blush Velvet Blush in Vintage Love. So this is a really beautiful airbrushed formula. It's absolutely stunning. The thing with this shade is it's kind of like a deep rosy mauve, so it is a little deep for my skin tone, but it's more than appropriate for that cold girl makeup aesthetic, which is perfect for this time of year in the winter time. So while I do still go in with a light hand, it still does look really nice for that out in the cold kind of look. So I thought this was perfect, and 8 uses will be great for this blush. So I think that'll be a really good choice, because as we get later in the year, I'm going to be reaching into those more peachy blushes, so I think now is the time, if I want to get some use out of this, to bring it in for the month of February. The foundation that will be replacing my Patrick Ta is the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. So this is not a foundation that I particularly love, but it's not one that I hate either. So this is one that I've had for a while, which is why I want to put it in the project. I do really love the packaging. Again, I love a squeezy tube with a pump. I don't know why. I have the shade 2, which I think is actually too deep. I should have gone with shade 1. This is supposed to be a neutral shade, but this is definitely a little bit too deep for me. I like this foundation if I use just the right amount. The problem is that it's very easy to use too much of this, I find, and it feels very heavy. And I don't like when my foundation feels heavy. I can't stand that feeling. For me, this isn't one I use as much as I should, but again, I don't hate it. So it's one that I'm going to be able to use up. Unlike the Patrick Ta, where I genuinely do not like that product. This one I don't hate, it's just not a favorite, but I will be able to reach for it and use it and hopefully use it up because I really don't want it to go to waste. I've decided to put this one in and hopefully I will have some fun updates for the end of the month. But that is it for my first update for this year's project. Let me know your thoughts or suggestions, always welcome, of course. And let me know if you're doing a project. How are you doing? How was your first month of the project? Let me know. I just love hearing from you guys so much. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. I do upload at least 3 new videos every single week. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!